are a place for healing and recovering. A place where patients can receive the care and treatment they need to get back on their feet again. And that's exactly what the dedicated vets and vet nurses are doing for their patients at the Australia Zoo Wildlife Hospital. Except the patients that come through these doors look a little different to you and I. Some have fur, some have scales, and some have feathers. But guess what? These animals are admitted to the Wildlife Hospital for injuries and illnesses that humans can have too. From car accidents to domestic pet attacks and viruses to diseases, the Australia Zoo Wildlife Hospital has treated over 68,000 sick, injured, orphaned native wildlife since 2004. And today was yet another busy day at the Wildlife Hospital. And we were lucky enough to join Dr. Rosie and Dr. Amber as they checked in with their patients. First up this morning, wildlife carer Kylie has brought in Waffle the Koala Joey for a checkup. When Waffle was first admitted to the hospital, she was suffering from a disease known as cystitis, which caused her to continuously urinate all over her mum's back. After spending several weeks recovering in Kylie's care, it's time for Dr. Rosie to assess her progress. So with a little sleeping gas and a quick pinch, she's ready to be examined.
Today we took some swabs from Waffle to make sure that the infection had completely cleared so that she can be released back into the wild when she's old enough. Waffle's had a 4-week course of a broad-spectrum antibiotic, and now her cystitis is all gone and she's not urinating all the time anymore and she feels great.
But Waffle is not the only koala in care at the Australia Zoo Wildlife Hospital suffering from cystitis.
Unfortunately, 30% of the koalas we see here are suffering from this particular infection.
But the vets and vet nurses are doing everything they can to treat these koalas and send them back out into the wild. And the same goes for little Waffle. Once she's old enough and well enough, she will return home where she belongs. Meanwhile, Richie from the Australia Zoo Rescue Unit has brought in a very unique patient for Dr. Amber to assess. A venomous yellow-bellied sea snake was found stranded on a beach in Queensland.
Which is very unusual. Our species here of sea snakes don't actually come to land at any point, and if they do come to land, it's usually because there's a problem.
So it was off to the pool for a swim assessment to see if Dr. Amber could spot any abnormalities. After watching his movements, Dr. Amber determined that he was swimming quite well.
And then we were able to look a little bit closer at it and examine its mouth because I could see there was a small wound there.
With Richie's assistance, Dr. Amber was able to get close enough to the sea snake to safely assess the wound. And lucky for him, the prognosis was positive.
That is fairly minor, and I think ultimately with a little bit of time and care that will actually be re-released again. It's quite a healthy looking sea snake.
As the hospital continues to get busier, the morning rounds have only just begun. Back in the nursery, Dr. Rosie is getting ready to check up on her next patient.
The next thing on our list today is to test Fly Bruno, the rainbow lorikeet. Bruno came in yesterday having crashed into a window. He couldn't fly yesterday afternoon. He's had x-rays, we didn't detect any fractures, but today we're going to check whether he can fly now and be released.
After carefully placing him on the ground, Dr. Rosie patiently waited for Bruno's natural instincts to take over and spread his wings to fly. But Bruno had other plans. Even after some gentle encouragement, he wasn't quite ready to show off his aerial skills just yet.
Bruno has failed his flight test. As you can see, he can't even get off the ground and he's drooping one of his wings. So he's going to have more x-rays and more rest in hospital and hopefully be released in about a week's time.
Up next, Dr. Amber has an appointment with Penelope, a qualified wildlife carer, to check in on a new patient.
And she brought in this little rednecked wallaby because its mum was unfortunately hit and killed by a car yesterday, so she wanted it to be checked and just make sure there was no injuries in that Joey.
As Dr. Amber gently conducted a physical assessment of the Joey, she couldn't see any obvious injuries. But each animal that is admitted to the hospital receives a thorough examination.
So we anaesthetised it, had a good look, took an x-ray, everything looks fine, so it's gone back off with the carer now who will raise it until it's ready for release.
Oftentimes, our wildlife carers have more than one animal to look after. And in this particular case, we were lucky enough to meet 2 more of the animals in Penelope's care. This is Mickey and Jezebel, 2 Joey paddy melons who have been raised by Penelope. They were both found orphaned at a very young age. But it's thanks to Penelope's love, support and devotion that all 3 of these young Joeys will be given a second chance at life.